A warm welcome to you. Tuned in to Eye on Africa. I'm Rochelle Ferguson BI. These are the top stories on the continent. South African authorities say at least 20 school children have been killed near the capital Pretoria after their minibus collided with a truck and exploded into a ball of fire. The internet's back in Cameroon's Anglophone-speaking region after being cut off for 3 months due to protests. It's a shutdown which has badly impacted communications and the economy. And despite conflict in their homeland, the Malian Tuareg band at Tamikrest are singing about resistance. They've just released their 4th studio album entitled Kidal. Our reporters went to meet them. But first to our top story. South African emergency services say at least 19 school children have been killed in the capital Pretoria after the minibus they were travelling in collided with a truck and exploded into a ball of fire. Well, the minibus driver was also killed in the accident, which happened in Mpumalanga province, where the bus was ferrying the children at the time. Authorities say they're investigating the cause of the crash. South Africa has a dire road safety record, as France 24's Clément Bonnereau explains.
This is what's left of the minibus carrying school children after it collided with a truck on a single carriageway some 70 kilometres north of Pretoria. The vehicle flipped on its side and burst into flames a few minutes later, killing several children and 2 adults.
It's another painful process that the family have to go through to identify the bodies and to go through this pain. It's just unnecessary.
Emergency services rescued 7 children and took them to a nearby hospital. It's not yet known what the cause of the accident was, but authorities believe the driver of the minibus underestimated the speed of the truck and collided with it while turning. South Africa's roads are among the deadliest in the world. It's estimated there were over 13,600 deaths in the 12 months from October 2015. That's an average of 37 people dying every day.
In other news, a Dutch court has sentenced a businessman to 19 years behind bars for aiding war crimes in Liberia. Gus Cohen-Holven was found guilty of delivering weapons to Charles Taylor's regime between 2000 and 2003 in return for lucrative contracts for his business. Well, the judges said the arms were funneled to Taylor's forces during an armed conflict in northern Liberia and just across the border in Kidal in Guinea. Nigerian police say 7 football fans have died after a high-powered electricity cable fell on them as they watched a Manchester United match on Thursday night. Another 30 people were transported to hospital in the coastal city of Calabar when the incident happened. President Muhammadu Buhari sent his condolences on Friday, as did Manchester United on its Twitter account. One witness described what they saw.
When I saw the reflection from the transformer, I was the first person to run outside. So when I ran outside, everybody, because they saw the reflection of the light from the transformer, so everybody was running to go out from the door.
The internet is back in Cameroon's Anglophone-speaking region after a 3-month-long shutdown owing to protests. Well, the country's English-speaking regions accuse the government of switching the internet off in a bid to crush dissent. Protests erupted last year against the alleged marginalisation of Anglophone areas by French-speaking authorities. The shutdown badly impacted communication and the economy. Have a listen.
Now we'll be able to reach more users on Facebook, especially because Facebook is a wide social network which Njoku uses to reach out to its clients and customers. I'll be able to create much more alerts to people using their email address and their job preferences for them to know more about Njoku. It's really a good decision and we're happy about that.
Next, the 12th Agricultural Show of Meknes in Morocco opened its doors this week. Now, agriculture is highly important for the country's economy, making up a quarter of its annual GDP. 1 million people are expected at the show, which is also an opportunity for local and French farmers to do business. Sarah Dublier, Jean-Marie Lemaire and Josh Vardy have this report.
The region of Tafileled lies in the northeast of Morocco. Abdelhak has been a farmer for 30 years. He took over the family farm after the death of his father. He's a big fan of French dairy breeds and has around 15 Holstein and Montbéliard cows. Now, he wants to expand.
I prefer having foreign cows. They have good, healthy bodies with high milk production. They also have pedigrees, so we know where they come from. Its mother, its father, how much milk it makes.
At this year's agricultural fair, Abdelhak wants to take the opportunity to network. By the French stand, cattle importers are keen to get involved with this developing market.
Moroccan farmers are getting increasingly technical, and we can see that with the improved performance they get in dairy and meat production.
The Moroccan government has a big hand in helping to import cattle. A subsidy is even on offer to breeders who do business with foreign clients.
We have to sort out banking and import procedures, of course, and we have to get people to come to France so they can make a selection. Once that's out of the way, we have big herds that work well in Morocco.
French cows are the most popular among Moroccan breeders.
It's an excellent example of a Montbéliard cow.
Abdelhak is confident in the quality and buys himself 30 cows, a new herd that's 100% French.
And finally, the desert blues of North Africa's Tuareg people is often dubbed rebel music. The Malian band Tamikrest sing of resistance despite the conflict that's rocked their homeland. They've just released their fourth studio album entitled Kidal and are on tour around Europe. France 24's Rochelle Harrison-Pless and Julie Dungelhoff went to meet them in Paris.
Hypnotic sounds, deep, slow-burning grooves that speak of both suffering and rebellion. Tamikrest are a desert blues band hailing from northern Mali, fusing the traditional melodies and rhythms of the nomadic Tuareg people with Western influences from B.B. King to Bob Marley. Singing in the Tamashek language, their music is a symbol of the Tuareg struggle for an independent sovereign state.
I'm trying to be a spokesperson for those without a voice. I sing a lot about my people, our problems, what we've endured for a long time. We're the victims of territorial division. We want autonomy to preserve our identity and language because our culture is disappearing.
Tamikrest follow in the footsteps of Tuareg musicians who have made it onto the world stage. Like Tati and Tinarawen before them, they're determined to keep the music alive, even as their homeland spiraled into turmoil. In 2012, Islamist militant groups swept across the region, crushing a Tuareg uprising and imposing Sharia law, which included a ban on music. Despite a French military intervention to flush out the extremists, the situation in Mali remains fragile and unstable. The group's latest album, Kidal, pays tribute to the flashpoint Malian city of the same name. The record was a labour of love.
I devoted a lot of time to making this album. To reflect the real situation, I had to live it. Therefore, I spent nearly 2 years in the desert.
With Mali's musical heritage under threat, Tamikrest are taking their brand of desert blues to audiences around the globe, making sure their message of defiance and hope is heard through the band's powerful, visceral performances.
Well, there you have it. You are up to date. Your Eye on Africa team will be back in about 45 minutes' time. Up next, Tom is here with more international headlines.